So Tim Walz said over the weekend, "What's your plan, Donald Trump? What's your plan?" Well, the plan is to go get the bad guys and then leave your state. But that doesn't seem to be working because you have a different plan. He said, what do we need to get these federal agents out of our state? Let them do their job. Just let them do their job. He said, if fear, violence, and chaos is what you wanted from us, no, that's not what he wanted from you. No, that's what you're giving, but that's not what he wanted. Then you clearly underestimated the people and this state and nation. We're tired, but we're resolved. We're peaceful, but we'll never forget. We're angry, but we won't give up on hope. And above all, we're clearly unified. I wonder about that one. I mean, I think people who are not thinking are unified, but this is a time for all Americans. These are the times that try men's souls. He said, we believe in law and order in this state. You know what? That kind of stuck to me. You know, Minnesota believes in law and order. I want to believe that. I really do. Because Americans want to believe that about themselves. I believe in law and order, but it's hard sometimes. But belief is not proven by slogans or words from some leader. It's proven by what you tolerate and what you punish. Law and order is not a yard sign that you put up. It's not a press release, okay? After something's burned down, you don't say, we don't believe in burning cities down, unless you've arrested those people. Law and order is discipline. It's quiet. Honestly, it should be very boring. It's relentless. And yeah, sometimes it's really unpopular. So, Governor Walz, can I just talk about the record here for a second? Because that one really stuck out. Minnesotans believe in law and order. You just lived through what prosecutors and investigators themselves have called the largest fraud scheme in American history. Hundreds of millions siphoned through daycare programs meant for the poor. Children used as cover. Taxpayers robbed blind. $700 million just going through the airport to Somalia. Can I ask you, if you believe in law and order, how many people at the state level, how many people has your attorney general prosecuted and arrested? How many? How many? Because that doesn't seem like law and order. It seems like you are trying to not let people investigate that. Okay? The way you're behaving is not law and order, it's permission. Now, let's rewind a few years ago. Police precincts overrun, entire neighborhoods burned, small businesses erased in a single night. And what did you and the leadership say, in effect? Stand down, de-escalate, understand the anger, and release anybody who was, caught. We have to become really, really clear on a few things. Anger is not a defense in a republic. Arson is not speech. A society that believes in law and order doesn't hesitate to defend the innocent because it's afraid of the headlines. Now, fast forward today. Activists coordinating. Wait till you see the news. We'll show you in just a few minutes. Actually coordinating to mark and track down federal agents. Shadow networks warning of enforcement actions. Open calls to stop the federal government by force if necessary. In fact, let me just play that here real quick. Let me see if I can find it. Let's just play here. Here's an Antifa recruiter. Cut 2, please.
My name is Kyle. I'm Antifa, and there's so much rage in me that I've had to record this like 15 times trying to get the message out. They up, okay? Go watch my other videos. Doesn't matter if you're not here and you're not caught up. You missed the fight. But if you are, it's time to suit up. Boots on the ground. Show up, ready to go. Okay, not talking about peaceful protests anymore. We're not talking about having polite conversations anymore. I am talking specifically to my followers. This is everything I have talked about, and this is exactly what I said was going to happen. This is not a joke. There's nothing fun to chant about it. Get your guns and stop these people.
Is that law and order? Notice what he started with. I am so enraged. When you're enraged, you're not making good decisions. You're not. You're just not. I know, because those are the things I usually have to go back and apologize for. Those are the things when I get really, really pissed off. Those are the things that my wife usually says to me. I wouldn't say that right now. I wouldn't do that right now. I would relax. You should pause. And I don't do it, and I get in trouble. Every single time. You don't make good decisions when you're enraged. Okay. Now, again, the message from the top is not the law will be enforced. It's the problem is the enforcement. Well, that's an inversion of everything we know, because law and order is not about whether you like the law. It's about whether or not the law applies, even when you don't like it. So here's the hard truth. Minnesota does not have a law and order problem because the people hate order. Minnesota has a law and order problem because its leadership has taught a generation that law is optional if your cause feels righteous enough. And that's why it's becoming deadly. And history is very clear on this point. We're not the first ones to go through this. Can somebody, for the love of Pete? I shouldn't say these things when I get angry. Can somebody please read a history book? Just pick one up. Any place. When violence is excused as contextual, when enforcement is treated as provocation, when prosecutors calculate politics before justice, the center doesn't hold, okay? It just doesn't. You don't get peace. You get what we have in Minnesota. You get escalation. Because once a group learns that pressure works, that intimidation stalls the state, another group is going to learn it too, and then another, and then another. What do you want, Minnesota? What do you want the federal government to do? What do you want them to do? We want them to leave. You think they're going to leave? Do you think they're going to leave? Let's just talk about this rationally. Do you think they're going to leave if you are having uprisings in the street? No, they can't leave. Why? Well, does anybody remember 1982, Beirut? There were 2 terrorist bombings. Reagan's like, no, we got to pull out. Everybody else was like, no, don't pull out. He lasted a couple of years, but eventually pulled the Marines out because they were just kept hitting us with terror. So he's like, you know what? We just don't need to be there anymore. Pulls them out. Who does that teach a very important lesson? Osama bin Laden. Osama bin Laden saw that and went, oh, we can push around the federal government. So he's not going to leave. And you know he's not going to leave. So what's your plan? What is your plan? Your plan is more chaos. Well, this is how republics rot. And they really rot when people shrug, okay? It's not a coup. It's a shrug. Most people are like, I don't know. I didn't pay attention. Let me be absolutely clear here. You have a right to protest, and I will stand up even if I despise the things you say. Even if you are picketing ICE and you are shouting slogans at ICE and you're demanding that the government respond to X, Y, and Z, all of those things are your right. And I'm 100% behind you. 100%. May not agree with you. In fact, may really disagree with you. This is not about crushing dissent. It's not about silencing protest. This is not about blind loyalty to authority. Wait until you hear me talk about the shooting today. But this is something far more fragile. This is talking about legitimacy. Because law only works when people believe that it's real. When it's real for the powerful, real for the connected, real for the activist, real for the bureaucrat, real for the federal agent, real for the protester, and real for the governor. One standard. The moment Americans believe that justice depends on ideology, the argument's already lost. The street takes over. So what does that tell you, America? What does that tell you, Pam Bondi? I'm not against Pam Bondi. I'm not against any of it. I'm for law and order because I understand how valuable it is. If you don't prosecute both Republicans and Democrats, and hell, I'll just throw them in, independents, if you don't process and prosecute everybody with the same laws, Nobody's going to believe in anything. And then you have nothing left. The center doesn't hold. So, no, Minnesota, you don't get away with saying that you believe in law and order. While fraud is largely unpunished and you're not doing anything about, riots are rebranded as a peaceful moment, and enforcement is treated like the real crime. Belief without action is theater. Law and order is not proven by words or, the words that are spoken after chaos. It's proven by what you do before chaos and what you refuse to excuse after the chaos. The good news is we haven't crossed the Rubicon yet, but we're close, Only if leaders remember somehow what we used to know instinctively will we survive. A republic survives not because everybody agrees, but because the law applies even when we don't agree. That's not authoritarianism. That's called civilization. And if we forget that, Minnesota will not be the exception. It will be the warning. And hear me, we're not talking about the republic. We are talking about civilization.
Thank you for thinking for yourself and being part of a movement, because that's really what all of this is. If you want the full story, you want to go deeper, go to blazetv.com/Glenn. Go there right now, sign up, no interruptions, just the truth, uncensored and unfiltered. Don't just watch, take a stand. And I'll see you over there in a minute.